Mr. Speaker, yesterday at the Phoenix Sinclair inquiry, the gaping holes in the Child and Family Services Information System, CFSIS, were exposed by Auditor General Carol Bellringer. The NDP have known since they came to power in 1999 of the major shortcomings in CFSIS. The point was hammered home by Ms. Bellringer in her shocking 2006 report, which called for a replacement of CFSIS or implementation of a new database. Ms. Bellringer said yesterday that as late as a few months ago, she'd asked for the NDP plan to replace CFSIS, and there was nothing. So I asked the Premier, with so many children in the care of CFS regularly being lost or missing from the system, why, for the sake of children in our province, in 13 years, has this government not acted?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And as I said, we're all listening intently to the testimony at the inquiry. We will take action on the recommendations as they come forward. I want to assure the member opposite that we have been acting on improving the information system. We have seen enhancements to that information system that make it easier for workers to track what they're doing, make it easier for workers to track those kids that are in care. We've increased training for staff who are now better able to work with that computer system. We're working with the federal government to improve issues of connectivity in rural and remote areas of the province. We've added staff positions to do data entry so social workers can do what they need to do, visiting kids, and not be waylaid by doing more and more paperwork. So we have been taking action, Mr. Speaker. We will continue to take action, and we'll continue to make investments in this area.
Mr. Speaker, but the government has known for 13 years that this is an issue, and it's still not there in place where it's needed. And in that time, this government has expanded their gambling empire. They've invested hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in all sorts of other things, but they've forgotten about children. And as Ms. Bellringer said yesterday, we can track every dime at lotteries, but we can't track every kid. Why not? I asked the Premier, by what specific date will the Premier have every single CFS office connected by broadband to an efficiently operating and up-to-date CFSIS system so that children in care can have at least as good a priority for this government as gambling does?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would invite the member opposite to look at our budget to see the priority that we place on children. When you look at this budget, Mr. Speaker, you will see continued investments in departments like Family Services and Labour, continued investments in the child welfare system at a time when we are having to make difficult choices about where we can put the money of Manitobans. We're continuing to invest in frontline social workers. We're continuing to invest in programs like the programs that I have visited, which help families stay together. We're continuing to invest in the ability of youth who are turning 18 to stay connected with the supports in the Child and Family Services system so they can complete their education and get employment. And those are the investments that we will continue to make. We have more work to do, absolutely, Mr. Speaker, and we will continue to work every day to improve the lives of children and families in this province.
Mr. Speaker, just a short time ago at a legislative committee dealing with Manitoba lotteries, we were told that the government was putting absolute top priority to get broadband for gambling and video lottery terminals to over 30 sites in rural and northern Manitoba. And yet now, almost every day in the Phoenix Sinclair inquiry, from reporters like James Turner, Carol Saunders, Linda Reynolds, Katie Nicholson, Steve Lambert, who are reporting of the problems, the shortcomings, the risk that this NDP government has put 10,000 kids in care at. They've called for this up-to-date information system, which should have been placed long ago. I asked the Premier to reveal how many millions he spent to implement his provincial gambling empire and commit this year to spending what's needed to complete the modern, up-to-date CFSIS system that's needed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There are organizations and agencies all over this province who are working to improve their connectivity so that they can take better advantage of information technology. But you know, Mr. Speaker, today, very soon, the member for River Heights will have a chance to show us which side he's on. He can stand with us, he can stand for investments in the child welfare system, or he can stand with the members opposite and their promise to cut over $10 million from that system this year. The choice is his, Mr. Speaker.